Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it is Tuesday, September 27th, 2022. If you could please subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. We are in the final week of Mercury retrograde, but this fall has really been a season of reflection because we had 6 planets retrograde, including Mercury. Mars is in its shadow position. It's getting slower by the day. It will retrograde at the end of October, on the 30th of October until January 12th. And it's transiting in the mutable air sign of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. So this augments this whole retrograde energy. And you know, in some cases, it can be really positive because you can return to things you want to brush up on or you want to learn. Maybe you reconnect with people that are advantageous for you socially or professionally, or maybe you hear from somebody from the past and that's something you need to assess, or maybe it's just slowing down to figure out what your game plan is going into 2023, because this is a big season of reflection, and Mars retrograde is going to be a big deal because it's going to be out of bounds from October 22nd through May 4th, and that means that it exceeds the sun's path by declination, does not play by the rules, it's out of control. And Mars again will be in the sign of Gemini through March 26th. It's a long time, but it's going to be retrograde from October 30th, when it retrogrades at 25 degrees and 37 minutes of Gemini, and it stations direct on January 12th at 8 degrees of Gemini. So this is reflecting on choices you want to take or you want to make, or decisions that maybe you are reviewing and reassessing and reconsidering. And it's going to be hard to move ahead when Mars is retrograde, especially with Gemini, which can bring up so many options, and it can be very scattered energy. But this week we have some things going on. So over the weekend, Venus, which represents relationships, what you value, how you earn money, this opposed Neptune on Saturday the 24th, Venus did. And that can bring light to things that are not making you happy, or if there are issues in partnerships. The Sun opposed Neptune the previous weekend. That brings things to light. That can bring us clarity on issues that maybe we've been in the dark about. And then there was a new moon in Libra that occurred on Sunday, September 25th at 2 degrees and 49 minutes of Libra. Venus rules the sign of Libra. It's technically in its fall position in Virgo, but it will change signs this week, which is positive. But during the new moon, it was in its fall position. It met up with Mercury on Monday, the 26th, but they were conjunct in the new moon chart. Mercury is now in its dignity. It's retrograde, but it re-entered the sign of Virgo on September 23rd. It initially retrograded in Libra, the sign of relationships. So many people are hearing from old co-workers or classmates or old lovers, whatever it might be in their situation, but it definitely can bring all sorts of relationships from the past. And Venus was conjunct Mercury. It formed a beautiful trine to Pluto, the planet of transformation, and it also formed a wide trine to Uranus, the planet of innovation and opportunities out of the blue when it makes a good aspect. And then Venus did make an excellent aspect to Pluto late on Sunday evening at 10:46 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, and early on Monday the 27th at 1:46 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Earlier today, Mercury, now still retrograde, now in Virgo, formed a beautiful trine to Pluto. And this is the second time. There will be the third time this occurs. And let's see, Mars, which is in Gemini, and it's in the shadow already, but Mars will trine Saturn, which is the planet of structure and goals and ambition. And this occurs at 1:49 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time on September 28th. And that is really good for taking innovative action, because Mars and Gemini can come up with a lot of ideas and learn, taking action by learning skills you need to learn, or brushing up on things, or definitely networking and getting involved locally, and for all of us really learning new things, I feel. And then Saturn in Aquarius is very much about up-leveling your education and learning, and about thinking outside of the box, being very innovative and inventive. So this is a good aspect, and I feel that brings structure to the chaos, because this is an unsettling time, and the age of Aquarius has been difficult, this new age of Aquarius. And in the midst, just knowing that Saturn and Uranus are clashing again this fall, and that's becoming close this week. It becomes exact on October 1st. They get to 18 degrees, Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in the sign of Taurus, and that looms the rest of the year, really. And in 2021, they squared one another. They had 3 exact squares. Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius. Uranus is the modern. Saturn represents limitations, karmic lessons, tests, and restrictions, but building within restrictions, committing to what you need to do, kind of like the Judgment card, facing what you need to deal with. Uranus is more like the Fool card and the Tower combined. It can be very innovative if you can just think in ways that you just kind of go with it, and just kind of you're flexible in chaos, and taking different paths. But also, like the Tower card, Uranus energy can bring something that can be very overwhelming or disruptive out of the blue, and can shake you up and rattle you. So it has both the Fool and the Tarot and the Tower, I feel. But that energy is at large this fall, as we are in a time of reflection and reassessment. And Venus is going to change signs. We're in Libra season. Venus rules the sign of Libra. And again, Mercury initially retrograded in Libra on September 9th. So a lot of focus on partnerships, and that new moon energy from September 25th. If you didn't do any kind of wish or manifestation or setting intentions or doing the law of abundance, you can still work with that energy. And Venus will enter Libra on September 29th at 3:49 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And Venus loves being in Libra. It rules the sign of Libra, and it will transit in Libra through October 23rd. But on October 22nd, it's going to meet up with the Sun at 29 degrees of the Cardinal air sign of Libra and form a superior conjunction. And that is a really beautiful energy around manifesting what you value, what you want, what you love. It's certainly very relationship oriented in the sign of Libra, bringing justice and value and harmony to your life and to the world. So that's a beautiful conjunction to look forward to. So now Venus enters Libra on September 29th. Now we have 2 personal planets in their dignity. Mercury in Virgo, Venus in Libra. That's definitely much more social energy. And, Mercury in Libra is really good for learning and getting organized and communication of all forms. Even though it's retrograde, it's really good for figuring out what you need to declutter, whether it's mentally or externally and physically, but really getting organized and doing research and doing your work and getting focused on your work. And over the weekend, let's see, the moon enters the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius on Friday the 30th at 12:03 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That is jovial energy with the moon in Sag. It makes good aspects to Venus and Jupiter and the Sun that date, and that's nice energy. And then on Saturday the 1st, The moon in Sag will, mix up with Mars, and with Mercury, it's going to go void with the square to Mercury at the late afternoon. But that's also, I think, focusing on what you what you need to get clear on now that Mercury is stationing direct on the following day, because Mercury will station direct on October 2nd at 5:07 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 24 degrees and 11 minutes of the mutable Earth sign of Virgo. And this is setting off where Mars will retrograde on October 30th. It's squaring where Mars will station within a degree. It's opposing Neptune also within a degree. It already opposed Neptune earlier in the year, but this is again bringing clarity and light to what you're trying to figure out and what will help you to move ahead ultimately. And on the day of the 1st, Venus opposes Jupiter at 2:12 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And that to me is actually bringing a sense of fun. It's an opposition, could make things a little excessive. The moon will square Neptune on that date, and that is good for connecting to the dream as well in this difficult time, but also manifesting work, being imaginative, romantic, being creative, but also don't let yourself go down the path too far about, what disappointments. I mean, we all are feeling them in different ways, obviously, but try to figure out what you want to manifest. And again, Venus and Mercury are in their dignity as of the latter part of this week, and that is good. And Mercury stations direct. That's one personal planet that is stationing direct. Pluto stations direct on October 8th, and Saturn stations direct on October 23rd. Now, Mars will retrograde on October 30th, so that brings another personal planet, which is a big deal because it only occurs once every 2 years, and really reflecting on how you move ahead in the best way. And that, again, will happen from October 30th through January 12th. But we still have, a window to work with now. It doesn't mean you don't work with Mars retrograde, but it's harder to launch new things during that time. So a lot to absorb, a lot to think about. I wish you a lot of luck, and thank you.